Okay, folks, welcome back. We have one more session before lunch. Just wanted to talk about sales funnels and split testing, kind of two sessions in one, really. So a sales funnel, I'm sure you're all familiar with the concept of a sales funnel. Basically, the idea is that people rarely transact with you just once. They normally go through a bit of a sequence where they get to be aware of you, they have some communication with you, and they might buy what's sometimes called a front-end product, a low price point product, and then hopefully they'll like what they bought and they will over time buy higher price point products with you and buy more products with you over time. So basically a basic sales funnel is traffic that goes into some sort of lead magnet, which is something to try and get someone's contact information so that you can then continue to market to them, to sell them your product or service. And a funnel could be a sequence of products in ascending order as well. So generally the customer goes on the journey through awareness of your business or your brand, to engagement, to actually making some sort of interaction. That could be as simple as just following you on social, for example, to opting in, to actually giving you some sort of contact information so that you can continue the conversation at your behest, to conversion, to somebody actually buying a product or service from you, to the excitement of that, to maybe buying your next product, and then maximizing buying your other products. And then they're so happy with their experience with you, they then became an advocate or a champion for your business, and they tell all your friends about it. So that's the kind of journey that customers go on. And obviously, as they promote you, they bring you into the awareness of someone else, and so the cycle repeats. So let's look at this. This is actually a 3 products in one of my businesses. I wanted to show you the kind of power in financial terms of a product funnel, because this is a business that has 3 products. There's a £27 product, a £495 product, and a £2,997 product. And basically, I want to show you the power of just adding the second and third products into the sequence, if you like, into the mix. Because if the business just had the £27 product, if it got 100 buyers, it would make £2,700. But we then offer people a £495 product and actually get 24%, 24 out of 100 buy the £495 product. So that generates another 11,880. Now, bear in mind, that's from the same 100 customers. So there's no marketing cost on that. That's an extra 12,000 revenue instead of 2,700. So that's about 5 times as much money just by adding the second product. But then we've got a third product, which is a higher ticket product, 2,997. And 9% buy that product. So that's 9 out of every 100. So 9 times 2,997 is 26,973. If you add up the 2,700 plus the 11,880 plus the 26,973, that gives you a total revenue of £41,553 from the same 100 customers. So the difference adding product 2 and product 3 makes is the difference between £2,700 of revenue or £41,553 of revenue. So basically a 15-fold increase in revenue just by adding 2 products. Okay, so I want you to be thinking about what other products could you offer to customers that transact with you, that buy your product or service. Now, they're not always going to be ascending values like this. It might just be that some other complementary products that you could sell people, but I don't mind betting that whatever you do, whatever business you're in, there is something that you could be offering to your customers to sell them something else as well. And it could be a high ticket offer, or it could be just more products at a similar ticket to the current product that you're selling. Or what we're going to do is we'll get a few of you thinking about that in a second, and we'll come up with some ideas for you. Let's look at a few more examples. Top one is a dentist. So their sales funnel might look something like a free checkup is the kind of first thing to get people in the door. When you've got them in the door and they're sat in the chair, it's easy to say, would you like a teeth clean today? And maybe that's 20 quid or 30 quid or something for kind of scale and polish. And then there could be a further upsell on that, which is a more in-depth 3D, ultrasonic, deep water jet, whatever, clean, cartridge jet washer styly, and that maybe is 50 quid. If you've got a book or a course, the front end could be a book, which you might sell for a few pounds, or quite often for books, what you do is a free plus shipping deal where you offer the book for free and people just pay £1.95 for shipping and handling. Then at point of purchase, you can offer an upsell to the audio version, for example, and then you could offer a one-time offer maybe to an interactive video-based course rather than just learning from your book. And for a physical product sales funnel model, then it could be that you offer someone a razor, and then the next product is you buy some blades with the razor, and the bigger upsell is the full shaving kit with shaving gel, etc. as well. So this is getting you thinking in terms of, what does a sales funnel look like and what sort of products. So normally you send people to a landing page at the start of your funnel, and that's normally going to give something away for free. So here's a few examples of those. So this is one for a 7-day green smoothie challenge. So that's the giveaway. And obviously they've got an end game in mind. They're going to be selling you something. They're going to be selling you a juicer or a course or something, but the front end is a freebie. Here's a workout one, again, a kind of fitness one. This is a meal planning one, 100 days of real food. So this sort of thing could be used by food by post type company like HelloFresh that sells food. To get people's interest, they could give you a load of meal plans for free. And then, of course, if you've got the meal plans, well, you need to go and buy the ingredients. Wouldn't it be easy if they've packaged up all the ingredients for you in the right size quantities delivered to your door? This example of a book selling one. So this is Rick, who's got a guy, he's written a book on how to write and sell a best-selling book. And his sales funnel is he offers the book for free, just pay shipping. You get the book. If you like the book, he does a workshop every couple of months, and you can get a free ticket to come to the workshop if you've had the book. Or sometimes he's done it at £27 for the workshop. And then if you come to the workshop, then he sells a book coaching and mentoring package, which is a couple of £1,000. So the sales funnel is kind of free to 27 to £2,000. So a few essential things for your landing page. Should have a clear heading that kind of says, what's in it for someone. So, what's the draw? So this one is a guitar one, 6 guitar hacks to make you play like a pro today. Okay. And mock up the product. It makes a big difference. Even if you're just selling a downloadable ebook, for example, if you just get a little image made that looks like a book, it makes a significant difference to the number of people that take the opt-in. Of course, they're not going to get a book posted to them. It's a download, but just having some imagery makes it look like a better, more tangible thing. Obviously, you've got the name and email capture, and you need a little tick box for GDPR compliance to say that they agree for you to retain their information and use it to market to them in the future. And then you want a call to action list, and then kind of bullet points to kind of give them reasons why they want to be getting this particular product. So that's the typical structure for a landing page. Now, this is an example of an event. This is one that we did earlier this year, and we did an event we called the Digital Business Bootcamp. It was a business coaching weekend event, 3-day event. And what we did was we offered free tickets to the event. It's a seminar event, free tickets. So when people said yes to the free seminar, what we then did was we offered them a gold ticket. And the gold ticket was kind of better seating at the front and videos of the event to take home, and a few extra kind of resources and things online. And so that was the first upsell. So they've gone from free to an upsell, 273 purchases, generating £19,000 for the sale. And then for the people that suggest they wanted to come on a gold ticket, we offered a VIP ticket, and that included lunches every day and a meet and greet with me and the other speakers. And 25 people bought the VIP tickets, and that generated another £7,500. So got people into the funnel with a free offer, but then you can see it's a significant amount of money. There's £25,000 in upsells at point of purchase just by offering 2 higher value products at the point of purchase. So I want you to think about, what is your funnel going to look like? What is the core product that you sell? And could you make a premium or high ticket product out of it? And think about, where could you connect with the audience, and what could you give away for free to entice your audience into your sales funnel? And one good strategy to use is, what you could do is your core product, you could you could splinter it, as the expression is used. So you could take some little aspect of your core product and give that away for free, and that becomes the thing to get people's interest, and they go for the freebie. Then you could give away a bigger chunk of your main product as a low ticket item, sometimes called a tripwire item. There's normally a low price, 7, 17, 27 pounds, something like that. And that's to sort out the serious people that would spend some money. And then you offer the core product. So you started off with one core product, but what you've done is you've split off two smaller chunks. You've got a really little chunk, a micro chunk, which is a freebie, and then a smaller but of value content, which becomes your low ticket tripwire product. And then you've still got the core high ticket product that you sell. So I'd like you to think about, what could you do with your product or service to make a sales funnel out of it, to make it not just a single one-off product. Okay, now if you're struggling to think, type in your industry in the chat box, and I'll get my grey matter crunching on some ideas for your business. But if you've got some ideas how you could split your offering, and what would your low ticket, what would your kind of freebie be, what would your low ticket product be, what would your high ticket product be, share that with me as well. Put that in the chat box. But like I say, if you're struggling, tell me the industry, and I'll try and come up with some ideas for you for how you could apply this thinking to your business. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes on that exercise, but type in as soon as you've got some ideas for you, or if you're struggling, type in the industry that you're in, and I will give you some ideas for it. Okay, John's giving me his industry is the wall beds we talked about earlier. So John, here's some thoughts on what you could do for wall beds for a sales funnel. So you could do a freebie, could be a guide on choosing a wall bed, or choosing a space-saving bed, which might be heavily geared to choosing a wall bed because that's the best way of saving space with a bed. But you could obviously compare and contrast other alternative space-saving beds, like a convertible sofa, like a kind of fold-up camp bed. You could compare and contrast different ways of having a space-saving bed for your spare room, pros and cons of each, and of course your conclusion is going to be that the wall bed is the best thing ever. That's what you need, right? You need one of these wall beds. They are amazing. Just so happens that you sell them. So that's your sort of lead magnet thing. What's the best space-saving bed? Then the bed itself is kind of really your core product, but I expect you sell probably different models of bed. So one way that you could have the sales funnel is you could then entice people with, you can get a wall bed from just, I don't know what your prices are, let's say £499. Just guessing. If I'm wildly wrong, excuse me, but you still get the learning. So you have that as a price point. Then at point of purchase, you could say, would you like to buy the Rolls-Royce version? So you have maybe something that's made of a different material, so it's a higher quality material. Maybe instead of MDF, it's rustic oak or something like that. There's a different finish. Maybe you offer custom finish, for example. Maybe that's an upsell. I've just bought a grand piano case. We can choose a finish. They basically say, give us the RAL number and we'll spray paint it to exactly the color you require, or you can have custom graphics on it as well. So, custom finish on your bed, that could be an upsell. There's an obvious upsell, which is the things that you need with the bed. So mattress obviously has different levels. You've got the basic mattress, the coil pocket spring, mega special. You've got the memory foam, NASA endorsed ultimate mattress or whatever. So there's probably some upsells on the mattress and bundles with the mattress. There's probably bundles with some bedding as well. So I think that's kind of where you go with that. I think the front end lead magnet is a thing about choosing a space saving bed. And then you've got the bed itself, which comes in all sorts of different flavors, where you've got upsells on the different materials, the finish, etc. And then you've got the stuff you can package with it, which is the mattress, bedding, etc. And then maybe there's a bigger upsell, which is like, are there any sort of commercial uses where this works really well? So and again, I'm just thinking aloud now, but maybe, I don't know, for an organization that has a lot of beds and they want to squeeze a lot of people in, I don't know, like a cruise ship line. Cruise ships have these kind of beds that hang on the walls or hang out the ceilings and things. So maybe there's a there's a high ticket upsell, which is the bundle that you should go for, and maybe that's a specific, maybe from the niche and stuff we are talking about earlier about your competitors and what they do. Maybe that's a big niche for you, because those cruise ships, when they're sort of 2,000, 3,000 cabins, that would be nice to get an order for 2,000 beds in one hit, wouldn't it? So that might be an interesting market for you to think on. But that's just some thoughts on the webinar stuff. Okay, let's see what else we've got in here. So we have got Marilyn with the anxiety training, written a book. It's on Kindle. Give away. Yeah, absolutely. So you could give away, and it could be a subset of your training, Marilyn. So it could just be 5 ways to help with anxiety, but actually in your course or in your program, you deal with 25 ways. So you give them a little taster of it first, or you just give them one strategy, but you go deep with it. So you go, here's a way to deal with anxiety using the blankety blank technique. And then your course could offer the other 24 in the series. So that could be a good way. And then for all of you that have got a kind of personal time package, which there's quite a few of you, because we've got Marilyn with anxiety coaching, which could be done one-to-one in a session basis. We've got someone who's doing dog training. That's an example of that. When you've got that sort of thing, an obvious upsell is just you bundle. So instead of just booking one session, you book 10 sessions or 20 sessions. You book a term. You book people on a monthly standing order. So now the order value goes up significantly, and you've got that pain of disconnect. If you say the dog training service or whatever, it's 25 quid a session. But if you say you get 10 sessions for 150 quid, it sounds cheaper, but you're committing people to more sessions earlier. Let's just take a couple more. Let's just look at the chat and scroll up. Okay, Victoria, online self-coaching course could do a self-reflection exercise or a simple diagnostic as free, then a short video session on a popular topic. The online course is the core topic. Yeah, absolutely. So exactly that, Victoria. And then of course your big upsell, your higher ticket upsell again would be the U time. So your online course as your core product probably doesn't include much U time, but there'll always be some people that want to pay more and they want to pay for you specifically. So then there's the kind of the high end one-to-one, you being their personal coach, life coach, mentor, whatever it might be, and that's the high ticket product that's a few thousand maybe. Cool. Okay, good. I think that's all of those. Oh no, actually, Alexander. So Alexander is insurance broker. Alexander, you were the very specific insurance. Is this? Do you do other insurance as well, or is it all tied in with the very high end insurance? I'm going to assume it's the latter. So let's think about your thing. So your thing was about insurance for business executives going overseas. So an obvious upsell for the package is not just to sell them insurance, but to sell them personal protection. So to sell a service where a bodyguard basically, or maybe a team of bodyguards, depending on how rough it is where they're going, go with them. And maybe it's a team of bodyguards and it's a bulletproof vehicle if it's that dodgy where they're going. So it's the procurement and hire of a secure vehicle, and it's a team of military personnel to escort you while you're there. It could be a Kevlar bulletproof vest. There's a number of all that whole personal security things. If someone's taking insurance, they're clearly concerned about the risks. So anything else that you can sell them to do with that risk mitigation when they're on that journey. And there's a good kind of sideways sell as well, which could be into the travel, because almost implicit, unless they're going somewhere dodgy in the UK, which there's a few places, but generally I guess that the implication is that you're selling you're selling protection, you're selling insurance to people traveling to risky overseas destinations. But by definition, they're going overseas, so they're going to need to buy some airline tickets to get there, and then they're going to need to book a hotel. So it might be that you could partner with a sort of high-end business travel booking service and offer that as part of your package as well, where you help with that side of things too. So that could be another little angle that you take on that as well. Cool. Okay, so let's move on because I'm conscious lunchtime is rapidly going to be upon us. So a couple of software tools. GrooveFunnels, you may have heard of. This is an alternative to ClickFunnels. And this is getting a lot. In fact, I saw that the other day. Said there's actually 300,000 people now registered for this. Not least because they've been offering it free. For the early adopters, they've been offering a chunk of the software completely free of charge for life. And their plan is to kind of knock ClickFunnels off their perch, basically. So go and check this out while you still can, while it's still available for free. It's freegroovefunnels.co.uk. This is done by an American marketer called Mike Fulsame, so you might have heard of. And he was involved in the Kartra software launch a couple of years ago. He sold out Kartra and now he's building his own thing called GrooveFunnels. So this is a software for building these kind of funnels, these sales pages for selling stuff online. Alternatively, you've got ClickFunnels, still the sort of incumbent that most people use. Also, leadpages.net is another really good landing page creator. If you've got a simple sales funnel, you just want to create a kind of sequence of sales pages, that works pretty well for that too. But of course, you can just build your pages in any page builder. It could just be WordPress, or it could be Weebly, or Squarespace, or any of those free website builders. Really a sales funnel is just a sequence of sales pages, and you can build those sales pages in any platform. Just these tools are a bit more geared around doing salesy pages.